My niece and nephews, we're going to look at the cult of Andrew Tate and somebody who's enrolled in his university. Let's go.
Today I'm getting a PhD from Hustler University, also known as Hustlerversity by those of us with the grind set. It was created by this guy.
I'm top tier. You think you're smart? I bought this coin and it's going up. You could have bought any coin and it went up in the last year. The Matrix was broken. Hustle University is the greatest thing that exists on the face of the planet for people who are trying to escape the Matrix. Become Hustlers University. Welcome to the metaverse. Inject it into your brain. You can skip university, you can buy my program, and I guarantee you, you will know everything you need to know. Have you ever seen a college professor with an S-53 and a McLaren and a Lambo and an Aston Martin standing next to a Porsche? No.
No, you haven't. He's right on that. You've never seen professor universities have these kind of things. But then a lot of people don't have these kind of things. And a lot of people, a lot of things, is when you're at the top, you have all these things. But everyone that's trying to be like you at the bottom will never equal what you are because you were the first person to do something. It's like everyone wants to be Mr. Beast. No one's going to be Mr. Beast because he did it all first and he's up there. Let's see how this goes.
You've never seen any of this. I know how to make cash.
Now, if you're wondering why I'm enrolling in a college that looks like it was started by the son of Mr. Worldwide, it's actually quite simple. Hustleversity was started by Andrew Tate, a guy that basically no one knew about until 6 months ago, and is now somehow more searched than Mr. Beast, Kanye West, or most shocking of all, even the Island Boys, who I thought would have a...
Right. Who are they? And what have they done with their hair like? They look like predecessors or the fathers of Dylan Mullaney.
Career forever. But such are the tides of fame, I suppose. And I guess the real question is, how did this happen and why? Well, Andrew attributes his meteoric success to a change in business strategy.
I put together a particular strategy about 6 months ago because I decided to step up my overall exposure because of a new product I launched. I run an online school that teaches people how to make money online. I changed my approach towards social media, and I ended up absolutely everywhere.
Now, if you're wondering what business strategy that is, or even what business this guy's in, turns out he's one of these male success gurus who will be your surrogate father essentially for a fee, and the program he runs is called Hustleversity, where he teaches you how to make fast money if you'll only pay $50 a month. And one of these fast money methods turns out to be selling Hustleversity to new people by posting clips of him, Andrew Tate. And because of this, it kind of created this pyramid scheme where there was a flood of TikTok videos and biased reviews saying that Andrew Tate is the one true savior that will save you from poverty. He's basically Morpheus from the Matrix, and that's not even me calling him that. He calls himself that.
I get called Morpheus a lot. We are living inside of the Matrix, and I am Morpheus.
He says...
Right, so he thinks he's some kind of god or messiah. Okay, so basically what's happening here is people are paying him for him to talk all this stuff to them. And then people are paying him so he can tell them how to go and make themselves a little bit of money. But at the same time they're going to make a little bit of money, they're going to promote his stuff and make him the most searched thing on the internet. So as they're making little bits of money at the bottom of the pyramid, he's going to be making millions at the top of the pyramid. So all these people are doing is they're paying to hear his guru stuff and mentor stuff. And they're basically... They're becoming his own people to make him rich. So they're doing all this work and getting these clips and reposting these clips and editing these clips and trying to cut it and dice it in different ways to get past the YouTube algorithms. By the way, my nieces and nephews, please like and subscribe for Uncle Jason so you can hear a lot more of Uncle Jason. It really does help the algorithm. On that note, but literally that's what he's doing. He's basically using all these people as a way of making money for himself. Now, I know most pyramid schemes, how they work. Basically, the person at the top makes the money. As people come in at the middle ground, they make a bit of money. But all the people, once it gets too saturated at the bottom, they're going to be paying this money and they're going to be screwed and making jack. There's a lot of scams online out there that sort of run the same sort of model. Now, I'm not saying Andrew Tate is a scam. No, because he's offering a mentor guruship service. And for some people, that could be life-changing and inspirational. But what I'm saying is that the premise of it being like a pyramid scheme is actually prevalent in this video and from what we're seeing. It's very interesting.
Wants to wake you from your mental prisons, all by selling you a program that sounds like what high school dropouts used to put as their education status on Facebook. Attended the School of Hard Knocks and graduated Hustleversity with a PhD. Wait, you're a doctor? No, that's the pimping hose degree. Which is something, by the way, I didn't make up. It's a course that Andrew Tate himself sells.
Oh my goodness. Are you actually having a giraffe? And he's selling this for how much? 337 quid? No, this has got to be a joke. This has got to be a joke. So the classic marketing thing, make it at a higher price, cross it out and put a lower price. So people think, oh great, I'm getting a deal. Let's get in, man. Let's get in, man. We're getting a good deal, like, man. Oh my goodness. Like, the reason we have girls acting like this, the reason why we have girls and guys acting the way they do nowadays, is because we have all the girls go for the gangster type, the rapper type, you know the type when he's nephew, the blup blup, you're getting a blow man like types, right? So they're going for all them. Then all the nice guys get left behind, and the girls don't want to interest in them. And then what happens is, then all the nice guys think, hello. This guy's acting like a prick, mate, and getting all the let's say getting all the pussy. So basically, he's acting like a prick, getting all the pussy, man. So then they're going to start acting like a prick, and you create this massive cycle of prickery. People acting like gangsters and rappers and all this kind of BS bullshit, and then the cycle continues. And then when these girls get to like 30 years old after partying in the clubs and acting like like hoes, as he would say. And then they get to 30 and then these failed OnlyFans girls, like these girls, etc., will be like, I can't get a husband, why won't they marry me? Well, maybe because you set your value low is why they don't want you. In life, as every human being, we have our own value, and we set our value either really low or really high. Uncle Jason sets my value really high, and I have always said, right, if I'm going to settle down with someone and I'm going to have, children with someone, I have standards, right? First of all, they've got to be the right person. Secondly, we've got to be stable enough to have children. And thirdly, and most importantly, they've got to be worthy enough to be the mother of my children. The worthiness, right? That becomes from being a high value person, not from being like acting like a fool and acting like a clown, and go and doing your OnlyFans for 10 years, and then when you're a failed twirly or a failed OnlyFans star, you're like, then you want Mr. Nice Guy. No. This is part of the nonsense why the world is the way it is. This kind of nonsense right here is part of why the world the way the world is.
But I don't think you want to take advice from someone who's in the middle of a human investigation. And that's not even to mention accusations of beating women, or him allegedly admitting that one of his businesses was, quote, a total scam. But none of this has stopped over 100,000 people from signing up for Hustleversity, which at $50 a month nets him $5 million a month, despite it being a repackaged version of the same male guru grift that we've seen over 100 times, like Tom Vu, John Crestani, Dan Locke, Grant Cardone. Need I go on? What's the difference with Tate? See, despite his...
That's a very good point. All scams are always repackaged over the course of time. I get that, and he's right in what he's saying. The bit I do want to challenge him on, though, is the human trafficking thing. He's now, Andrew Tate to date, is now not being found innocent, and this has not gone to court, and he's not been convicted of any human trafficking offences. Right? He's like a G-man, kind of act like a fool, wants to party, have lots of women, and very sort of, let's say, old-fashioned kind of values and stuff. But the one thing he's not, you can like him or you can love him, he's not a human trafficker. Okay? There's one thing he's not. He's got a lot of respect about him, and he's got a lot of decorum. Now, I don't agree with everything he says, because Uncle Jason always say opinions are like arseholes. We all have them, and sometimes they stink. But just because someone says something that you don't agree with doesn't mean you disagree with everything they've ever said. On some things, Andrew Tate does talk a lot of sense. On some things, he's a complete clown. It really depends on what you're looking at that specific point. But this is where humanity's lost its way, because we can't look at something now and say, well, I don't really like that person very much, but actually that point's really good. We can't do that anymore. We've lost the point of looking at individual points or looking at a political party or an organisation and saying, well, I like that what you say and I agree with that, but I don't agree with that, and that's a bit, We can't do that anymore. We've lost the art of conversation and debate. That's due to a lack of social skills and emotional control and lunacy that we have in the world at the moment. Uncle Jason, breathe.
Alleged criminality, toxicity, psychopathy, Andrew does have one undeniable skill that seems to be responsible for most or all of his success so far. He's just really entertaining.
I hate everyone equally. Don't come at me and call me sexist or racist or any of these things. I hate everyone. I don't care if you're black, white, straight, gay, man, and woman. I hate you anyway. I do know how to administer CPR. However, I will not administer CPR unless you're a hot female. If you're some fat dude and you just had a heart attack and I don't really know you.
Is that a lady billing you and you back and rearrange your bones?
That clip there is an example of don't agree with, right? Uncle Jason's first aid and myself, and quite frankly, you do not discriminate who you give first aid to. As long as you follow the rules, and guidance and stuff you are being given, and your training's up to date and stuff, you help anyone that you can. You do not discriminate with someone just because they're a fat, lazy arsehole. Excuse my language. Cut. You do not discriminate against anyone because of who and what they are, or if they're fat or thin. You don't do that, that's really bad. And that, I'm sorry, I will say that's misogynistic. That point there, if he's only going to want to put his hands and touch women, hot women, not even normal women in his eyes, that's just, no. You don't say stuff like that. That's, not agree with him. Like Uncle Jason says, some things he says are great, and some things like that are just complete stupidity. And that's in the sense of stupidity. But he's doing it for a reaction. He's doing it to provoke reaction. He wants reaction online because reaction online gets him searched more, gets him through the algorithms. And if you understand how it all works, he's basically doing it to goad these people, and he's manipulating them like little puppets on a string, and he's then going to be milking the money out of it. It is very simple what he's doing. It's effective what he's doing, and unfortunately people don't wake up to what he's doing.
Why is it being misogyny for a full hour straight, bro?
I have a lot of muscle. It's painful to carry around. It's a 2-hour massage.
You see, guys, modern influencers are slowly learning that we live in a post-consequence world, with people like Jake Paul running around just serially scamming people and nothing happening to them. People are starting to realize that the only real currency is attention. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is not that you go to jail. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is you become irrelevant. And this is what separates Andrew Tate from a lot of the fake gurus I've covered in the past and makes him much more effective and maybe dangerous at what he does. And in that way, he's got more in common with someone like Alex Jones.
We're gonna beat your ass! You just get that through your stinking traitorous heads!
Than he does with someone like Dan Locke or Grant Cardone. Both Jones and Tate operate sort of on this playbook where entertainment is king. They say a bunch of outlandish statements that builds attention, and then once they're the crazy guy, all they have to do is say a few basic things that everyone agrees with, and then their audience suddenly thinks they're a genius. I mean, everyone has seen this with Alex Jones, right? You have modern philosopher Joe Rogan seemingly saying that he predicts everything.
Alex is right about far more than he's wrong.
When in reality, Alex Jones is predicting everything sort of all the time. So of course he's going to be right some of the time. And it's sort of the same with Tate. He says so much. In one segment, he'll say something outlandish like, men should be able to cheat on women, but it doesn't work the other way around because that's disgusting.
Let's not pretend that male loyalty and female loyalty are the same thing.
But loyalty is loyalty.
No, they're not the same thing, are they? However, I would not see my infidelity as nearly anywhere near even 1% as disgusting as female infidelity.
And he knows that's going to get him clicks and piss people off, But then we'll say in a segment right after, oh, I believe in true love between a man and a woman. I believe there should be more love.
I think relationships are a beautiful thing. I think that the synergy between men and women are a beautiful thing if they are correctly collaborated. I think that that's what makes society function. I think that's what makes the world function. I think that men and women falling in love and having children and having families are very, very beautiful things.
Well, who doesn't agree with that? And he'll talk to like men's issues. He'll talk about how lonely men are.
Most men are absolutely and utterly invisible. This is the truth about masculinity, right? It's very easy for women to sit here and complain about the top 2% of men because I dealt with this guy, he's arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Most men don't even exist. They send 10,000 DMs and never even get read, let alone replied to.
And so this makes it so that the many people who are trying to say, Andrew's just crazy, they don't see the full con that he's running because the crazy is only half of the game. Because eventually, people hear the other half, the basic stuff that's obvious, and go, well, he's not totally crazy. And people just eventually kind of go down the Tate rabbit hole where they think, maybe I can leave the Matrix and get girls, jets, and Bugattis. Maybe I just need to become financially free. How do I do it? Who's looking out for me? And that's where Hustleversity enters the picture. And look, I know we just covered a lot, right? But to understand this next part, to understand Hustleversity, it requires a deep understanding of Andrew Tate's appeal. So we can see why Hustleversity is on the one hand so popular, despite being so bad. Because when I first joined Hustleversity, I thought it's got to be different, right? To have this many people paying every month, they have to have things that you just can't learn for free, right? Wrong. Once again,
he's got a lot of followers, but there's 8 billion people on the planet. So if you put it into percentage terms, it's not as much as it seems. But again, he's doing good. He's marketed himself really well, and he's making a lot of money out of it. But like Uncle Jason said earlier, the people at the top of the pyramid will make the money, and the people at the bottom won't.
I'm disappointed because I joined this month and have been going through the classes, which is basically all of the same boring topics all of these guys teach about making money. It's all the most surface level stuff. He assigns a so-called professor to each skill, and all of this all takes place inside of Discord servers. And so in these chat rooms where your instructors have a fraction of the charisma of Tate, you're supposed to commit yourself to these skill sets, which are super surface level because, of course, this all appeals to the lowest common denominator men who think answers can come from TikTok videos. And this is where it starts to hit you as you're scrolling through Discord threads, that this kind of was all a big bait and switch. I mean, think about it. You've been told you're going to escape the Matrix. You're going to take the red pill. But what you end up doing in this course is sort of learning how to run an Amazon side hustle for Jeff Bezos. Like, no offense, you're not breaking the Matrix. You work for the richest guy in the world. Like, imagine Morpheus gives Neo the red pill and says, hey, have you ever day traded before? It doesn't stop there either. Like, you've been told you're going to be rich, right?
Guarantee you won't make money with this system. Hold on tight, we're about to get rich.
But hustlers...
There are so many people online that say you can make money out of trading and stuff like that. And Uncle Jason will tell you now, there are some people that can make money out of these things, but the majority, 90% of people, don't make money out of these things. And the problem is, again, with saturation, as soon as the market becomes oversaturated, you're screwed. And to make it sound so simple is ridiculous. It is lunacy. And unfortunately, we live in a world now where people want instant gratification. But it's also one of the dangerous things in the world as well.
University sort of changes the rules and definitions once you're inside. Like, they have this cash quadrant of time and cash where you're either time poor or cash poor, time rich, cash poor, cash rich, time poor. You get the idea. And what they define cash rich as is very telling. They define it as having $5,000, which by that definition, guys, I'm proud to say I'm cash rich. Now, guys, look, having $5,000 is great, but you ain't rich, right? The lifestyle we've been sold on here is exotic Bugattis, not extra Starbucks biscottis. I mean, am I crazy here? Like, I feel like most people who join this Discord want olive Lamborghinis, and they're sort of getting Olive Garden fettuccine. And this...
And with all these cars you've got, I really do wonder how many cars does Andrew Tate actually own, or how many are sort of leased out, or how many are sort of part of a company and all the company's assets on company books, where they're sort of leased from the company asset book, which basically means he actually doesn't own them. It's like, for example, you've got like Manchester United Football Club. This is a bit more business tech. The Leicester Glazers at the moment, don't get Uncle Jason started now, he'll be here all day, right? They own the club, but they don't own the club because they own the club because they've got their money and they're rich and they own the club. They own the club because they've got the club on debt, and the club, they then use the club and milk it dry to pay the debt plus pay them a little bit of money as well. But the club's still £1 billion or nearly $1 billion in debt. So $1 billion in debt, or nearly $1 billion, rephrase that, $1 billion or nearly £1 billion in debt, right? You know what I mean, anyway. But the point is, you literally are, everything's in debt, and you don't actually own anything. But the problem is, you technically own it because you can say, look, I own it, but it's in debt to the banks. It's in debt to this, in debt to that. Yes, you're milking the money off it, and you've got the debt there. And if you sold everything, you clear debt, and you then take whatever money you got left over. That's all he's doing here with all these Bugattis and these cars. He's doing nothing different. The only difference is, unfortunately, he's not a blood-sucking vampire sucking my football club dry. That's the only difference. You know. But hey-ho.
Weird disconnect is everywhere, where Andrew Tate is practically screaming how great Hustlers University is, on the one hand.
Hustlers University is the greatest thing that exists on the face of the planet for people who are trying to escape the Matrix.
And yet, if you look at their own success screenshots that they provide...
Screenshots, oh my god, Uncle Jason sees so many people do these little fake screenshots, or they pay people on Fiverr to do a little story about how this product's successful, and how my Auntie Fanny and my Uncle Roger have succeeded, and even my dad with no tech skills has done it as well. There's another scam out there called Jonah Armstrong, who is a disgraceful scammer, and he even uses his children and his wife as part of his propaganda. These people, like, who, if they want to make money out of you, have no moral compass, no moral standards in the world, like, right? As far as I'm concerned, scammers are pond-sucking pond life, and that's the end of the conversation there, right? But this is what they do. They use little fake screenshots and manipulated data and to make it look good. But you got to remember, when they're showing their screenshots, they're showing from the top of the pyramid or the middle of the pyramid. They're not showing from the bottom of the pyramid where you're screwed, like.
Their students are getting at best, like, very part-time income. Like, there's screenshots of $400 a month, maybe $2,000 a month. And those are the examples they chose, which I'm not knocking the people who are doing this. Like, good for them. But unless you consider being cash rich, having $5,000 total in your bank account, then this course doesn't seem to be getting people rich. It just teaches lost guys extremely basic skills that are free to learn, but charges them $50 a month for it so they can feel like they're escaping the Matrix by working for Jeff Bezos. And this all brings us kind of back to the real reason for the success of Hustlers University, which is, of course, Tate himself. But the irony is that once you join the university, you barely see Tate at all. He claims to be teaching the secrets to modern wealth creation, but the reality is, from what I saw, he was too busy marketing to actually be present in the Discord. And instead, you just had all these random people teaching you, like, e-commerce or freelancing or copywriting and investing. And this is kind of one of the reasons that I struggled to get good screenshots to show you guys from inside the course, because it was so boring and bland. And that's why I decided to finally cancel my plans to become cash rich. And that's when I found out about the last trick Tate uses to get you to stay.
Anyone who messes this up, annoys a professor, doesn't renew their subscription, their card cancels, anything stupid, then you're going to regret it for a very long time, because there's simply nowhere else to go.
That's right. They tell you there's nowhere else to go besides Hustlers University.
That there, right there. Uncle Jason's heard a lot of this sort of thing. That is classic 101 scammer talk. Now, I don't want to say that, but I will. That is classic scammer talk. Oh, but if you leave, you're going to lose this. Oh, but you'll never have an opportunity again. Bullshit. I'm telling you this now, right? I tell you this now, right? if somebody left for 2 months, right, and then wanted to go back into the system and pay money, they're not going to say no because it's money. If you cancel your Netflix tomorrow because you're, I don't know, because you've got some financial difficulty, or you're going away mountaineering for 2 months, right? You go mountaineering for 2 months, right, and there's no internet, right? You cancel your subscription for 2 months. You come back and you phone Netflix and go, hello. I want my Netflix back on, please, right? And they're not going to go, nah, mate, you left us 2 months ago, go and do one, mate. We don't want your money, man. They ain't going to do that. They're going to be like, welcome back. Oh, we're glad to have you back. Thank you for coming back to us. And a bit of PR and spin, blah, 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 down the line. Then you're back on your Netflix. Same with this. And the thing is, though, and like if what he's saying is true, Andrew Tate's not even teaching you anything. He's got these people doing. Then you're not learning from Andrew Tate. All you're doing is basically watching videos. And if that's the case, people, just watch all these videos online of Andrew Tate. If you want to learn what Andrew Tate does, watch all the videos online for free on YouTube. You ain't gonna pay $50 a month. And then you got to pay £337 for a course on learn to be a pimp like. Oh my goodness. What's the next thing? What's the next course going to be? How to suck on a cigar? Like, it's just lunacy.
The only place where you're going to learn not to be broke. And even the people who want to be part of it and simply don't have the money, Tate has told them that there's no second chances. They're going to go back in the Matrix if they miss a single payment.
I had to unsubscribe to get my mother a birthday present, but I resubscribed the next month. I don't believe that. I don't believe you. And I also think if you were a member of Hustlers University for a month and you didn't make enough money to buy your mother a birthday present, you f***ed up. So you're probably going to end up kicked out.
Like, their two responses are, that's...
Right. So basically, this is how it all goes in the scams. If you don't make money, it's not their fault for people who create it, the setup, the founders. No. It's your fault. If you can't make this work when it's oversaturated, it's your fault. That is a bunch of scammer BS baloney. I cannot believe that this is what's happening. And in all fairness, this is a really good expose video. I never thought Uncle Jason was going to take this kind of stance on this. I literally thought I was going to be like a Andrew Tate, praise Andrew Tate, blah blah video. I did not think it's going this way at all. This is literally groundbreaking. But the problem comes, if you're going to treat people like that, and genuine people who try and do things, and I've known people who have been involved in scams and they've put their blood, sweat and tears into try and make something work, and they can't make something work, not because they're not putting the effort in, they're not doing all the things you said, they're not making it work because the market's too saturated or something's gone really tragically wrong. That's just disgusting. That absolutely Uncle Jason's blood's boiling. And I know people as well. I actually know people who have been affected by scams, different types of scams, left, right and centre. And when I think about this and think about that, it just makes my blood boil. It really does.
Not true, and even if it is, it's your fault anyways, which I find amazing. It couldn't be the program, right, guys? And you have to understand that for the people actually in the course, they're like deathly afraid of missing a payment because they've been told that if they do, guess where they're going? That's right, straight back in the Matrix.
Back into the Matrix. Right, people, I think basically you go out the pyramid into the Matrix. Andrew Tate is a form of Matrix. You're joining his Matrix. You're joining any kind of cult or group. You're joining the Matrix. If you join a political party, doesn't matter if the Republican or the Democrats or the Conservatives or Labour, Lib Dems, etc. You're joining a cult and you're joining a group. Yeah? So, and that group's philosophy and that group's ideas will filter down through. That's all he's doing. So basically, he's creating a load of people who think like him and a gang who think like him, And I've seen things as well where he talks about making his gang and stuff and all being together in this gang to have power and unity. Because at the end of the day, the more people you have behind you and following you and backing you, the more power you have in the world. This is why like political groups and other organisations want a lot of people on their side, because the more people you have on your side, the more power you have. For example, an example would be North Korea, how the North Korean leadership does propaganda to keep the people following the leaders and keep the people loyal to the country. You know, the whole propaganda, you get condition people or you make people think your way and believe your way is so you have an army or a group for whatever reason you want them for. Now, 99% of the time, these are used for peaceful measures and measures that are well inside the law and, of course, of human rights. But we do need to be very careful of this sort of cult mentality where we're losing the foundation of critical free thinking, where you can look at two sides of a coin, you can analyse and evaluate both sides of the coin and have your own opinion. Having your own opinion is very, very important. If Uncle Jason teaches my niece and nephews nothing else in the world, having your own opinion is very important.
Jail, they call it.
And you'll see we have people in jail. So people who don't renew, we don't kick you out. We put you in the jail and you sit there in your cell and you have no access to the money-making information. And we just flood you with all the endless wins. Every time someone wins, we show you.
I mean, Andrew Tate hasn't reinvented anything. He's just doing it more successfully than a lot of fake gurus have in a while. But the result is the same as ever, where the real person getting rich, truly rich, is Andrew Tate.
You're broke! You're f***ing poor!
You know,
Thank you for watching my niece and nephews. Please like, share and subscribe out, and I'll see you in the next one.